And guess what? It's the 1 year anniversary of the podcast. Couldn't be more happy to tell you guys it's been 1 year, 52 episodes, not a single week missed. We did it.
Perfect attendance.
Yeah, we need to get like a perfect attendance award. Please, somebody send us something.
Give us a gold star or That's a heart.
Right. But how's it going? We're going to answer all your questions today, or as many as we can, and just get into it. If you did listen to our podcast episode yet, it's all about a day in our lives. So if you're really curious about Tallene, what does she do when she wakes up? What time does she wake up? What time does she sleep? What does she eat? When does she scratch herself? When does she go to the bathroom? All these questions are answered on podcast.
We also talk about Sirak's day in the life
of
a woman with PCOS.
Let's be honest, you guys don't care about my life. You care about Tallene's life. So we made the podcast all about her.
My life is your life. We're attached.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
You hear that? Life, happy life.
A lot of congratulations are coming in from Nimra, from Pari, from Keran. Thank you, everybody. I love you.
How you say people's names with Armenian accent.
That's right. Keran says, I love you too. Well, we love you as well. So, yes. You two are so funny, says Amanda. Please give me some tips to lose weight with PCOS. We'll definitely give you some tips on this live. Just stay tuned.
We got you, girl. We're going to answer all your questions here.
Yeah. Let us know, how's everyone's COVID life going? Is everybody on lockdown again? Let me know. We're curious. Are people stuck at home right now? Are you not able to go to work?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Let us know what new episodes you want on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because after 52 weeks, we love feedback. We love hearing about what your favorite episode was. If you have a favorite, comment it here so we can see.
Yeah.
I know we go on tangents in the beginning of our podcast episodes. If you remember any funny tangents that you enjoyed, comment it.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying yes, lockdown, curfew, a lot of it.
Let's see. Make sure all of you are ruling out cortisol, as I was misdiagnosed for over 14 years and it was actually Cushing's.
Oh, is that some sort of
like a
stress
cortisol related?
I see. Disease. Interesting. Okay, so let's get into it. A lot of people are locked down, been stuck in lockdown for 2 weeks.
In England.
Yeah, Muna says, I'm so grateful for you guys. May God bless you always. Not a day I don't use your page to help me. Well, we hope God blesses you too. Thank you so much for those kind words. So nice. Well, how dare you say that, Tommy? How dare you? A lot of people are stuck at home.
I know.
It sucks. So sorry to hear that.
What's up, girl?
Sup, Pop Dizzle?
How's it going?
Yes.
She sent me a really pretty picture the other day.
Yeah.
She looks bomb.
So, we should talk about lockdown, right? Everybody's locked down right now. Again, probably you're not able to go to work, so you're not getting as much activity. Maybe you can't go to the gym. So what can we do in these cases to help manage your symptoms? Possibly if losing weight is one of your goals, how can you still continue that and, keep the momentum going? What do you think?
I think that having a routine is really important. And this episode could not have come at a better time, because if there's one thing I learned about living in quarantine, it's that having a strict self-care and self-awareness routine is so important. Because at one point I kind of fell off the wagon and I stopped working out and I was just over it because I just felt really cooped up in the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized it was really affecting me. And that's why I decided that I needed to do a little challenge. So I set up the 4-week challenge that some of you are participating in to walk 5,000 steps a day. And I used to walk 5,000 steps a day, but since we can't leave the house, I hadn't done it in a while. And I just was feeling really stagnant. So just doing that 4-week challenge got me to feel like I should be doing other things. I felt just more motivated to do other things.
Yeah.
Really be mindful about my nightly wind down,
mm-hmm.
Take off all my makeup, maybe do a mask, not slack on some of those things. And just start taking more charge. And the next thing I knew, I was lifting weights again. And I just felt way more motivated, all because I challenged myself for 4 weeks to do something.
Yeah, exactly. That's some questions from TikTok. Where can we listen to your podcast? The podcast is in the link in bio everywhere. So if you just go to the bio, you'll be able to get the straight link to the podcast. So someone says, I need to lose weight, but I don't know how. So Tanya, what are your starting tips for losing weight with PCOS?
Well, going into it with an open mindset is, of course, important because there's a lot of components to PCOS weight loss. So, my first tip is to take a look at your diet, look at what foods might be spiking your insulin. Is it gluten, dairy? Do you have a lot of insulin inflammation, adrenal fatigue? Figure out what type of PCOS you have first, and then jump into diet.
Yeah.
And then, slowly it'll start making more sense to you if you should be gluten-free or dairy-free.
Yeah. And I mean, when it comes to losing weight with PCOS, it's not all about working out as hard as possible to lose that weight as well. It's really about being efficient and smart with your PCOS. So like, it's not about cutting your carbs drastically where you don't have any carbs at all, or cutting your calories where you have a very restrictive calorie count for the whole day. All these things are actually contributing to what's happening with your PCOS. So when you cut your carbs, you're going to actually negatively impact your insulin resistance, unless you're going with some sort of a keto diet where it might help you. That's different. But in many cases, when you just straight up cut carbs, there's a lot more negative there's a more negative impact than positive. And then cutting calories. There's research that shows that cutting calories can lead to gallbladder stones. And not just that, women with PCOS are more prone to gallbladder stones. So you don't want to cut your calories, because when you don't have those nutrients, those can lead to many different worse situations. So when it comes to thinking about all this, so how do we lose weight? How do you lose weight? Well, it's by focusing on your root cause, your underlying issue. So for many sisters, the insulin resistance, like even though you may be eating a regular diet, but you're gaining weight, why is that? It can be due to your insulin resistance. 70 to 80% of women have insulin resistance. So it's very common to basically gain weight while you have that. In addition, when you're doing some of these intense workouts, like a lot of people just say, oh, just do a workout as hard as possible and you lose the weight. That's not really the case, because when you go and do your kickboxing, or you go and do like HIIT workouts, or you sprint for like an hour or 2 hours thinking that if I just run as much as possible, I'll lose weight, it goes against what your body is going through. Because with PCOS, you already have elevated stress hormones, cortisol, leading to adrenal fatigue, so much more. So when you do these intense workouts, it's just pushing that even further. And then you're not able to get the results that you deserve, because you're putting in the work. It's just that you may be working against yourself and your body. And it's just about discovering how to work with your body. And once you do that, like, the weight can literally fly off. Like, we've seen many sisters, once they make those big changes that are according to their body, it comes off even easier than they ever thought possible.
Yeah, without cutting calories or being restrictive or being miserable.
Yeah.
It's really just healing your metabolism.
Yeah.
And then you are burning off what you're eating, and you're your ideal body weight.
Yeah. Okay.
Is dancing good for losing weight? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes you happy.
Yeah, it's good.
Being relaxed and happy will help you lose weight.
The thing with intense workouts, when we talk about intense workouts, like dancing, it can become too intense, but what you want to do, there's like a little bit of a guideline you can follow. So it's about controlling your breathing and your heart rate. And you don't want your breathing to become like to the point where like you're breathing so hard that you have to stop for like 5-10 minutes to catch your breath. That's a sign that the workout is too intense, because your body basically recognizes that you're out of breath. It thinks that you're running away from something, and it's in our genes to basically spike our cortisol levels, to put us into a fight or flight mode, to make us basically perform better. This is a natural thing. However, because of the hormonal imbalance with PCOS, that stress doesn't come back down as easily as it might for maybe like a person like me or something without PCOS, right? So that is why we tend to say avoid the intense workouts and try to go for more, like slow weighted workout approach is a great option.
Is hot yoga good for this?
Hot yoga is good, but it can become like really intense. I've done hot yoga, and there's been moments where I basically I had to lay down, or like telling.
Let's tell them about my hot yoga.
Tell them, please.
Well, I do this new thing where I snatch the soul.
My soul, specifically.
His soul. Snatch it. I went to hot yoga with Sirak.
Yeah.
And I thought that it would be nice and relaxing, and they turned on the heat. And my sister had warned me that this specific place gets extremely hot. And, they closed the door, and there we were. And the guy was like, if you feel lightheaded, if this is too hot for you, please just lay down. Don't leave the class because you'll disrupt everyone. And right after he said that, he launched into the yoga routine. And I stood up and I, did whatever they said. And then I couldn't breathe because it was
5 minutes in.
It was so hot, and I just didn't foresee myself completing this yoga class. So I was either going to leave right then at the beginning, or the guy was going to get mad at me if I left in the middle.
Well, Talian left,
so I just
right?
Bounced.
Talian got up and left. And not only did she leave, she left everything behind. She left her yoga mat, her water bottle, her towel. She just left it all and left. Took the car and left. Took the car and left.
I went shopping.
While I was still inside just doing my hot yoga. And as I was leaving, I had to freaking take a bunch of her shit and my shit. I'm basically 2 hands are both like this.
Mat. Come on.
It's 2 yoga mats, 2 towels, 2 water bottles. Unless I'm an octopus, I cannot carry all those things. So that was basically what happened. And then
it was so bad.
Yeah.
So, if you like hot yoga, go for it.
Yeah.
But if you feel like it's too much for you, don't push it.
Yeah.
Be like me. Walk out.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone's laughing.
Yeah.
If it's raising your stress hormones instead of calming you down, just walk away. I have no problem doing that in any situation.
Check out this comment. Jasmine says, help, I'm gaining 2 to 4 pounds almost every day. I can't change my diet. I've been eating less and I work out twice a week. Why am I gaining so much? Interesting.
Okay. So I would start with going to the doctor and getting some blood work done, seeing if your thyroid's okay, seeing what is happening underneath it all. Because that's a significant amount and very quick. So perhaps that could be an issue.
Yeah.
If not, then start trying to understand if you have insulin resistance, have that checked too. If you have a lot of insulin resistance, then you know that there's a lot you can do about it. Mm-hmm. You can take Ovastatol, you can change your diet, gluten, dairy-free, low carb. There are so many things that you can change if you have insulin resistance. So it's just figuring out what is happening underneath and not letting it spiral for months and months and just being like, I don't know. And then not having it checked, because I've done that.
True that. Junton says, I'm down 42 pounds. Thanks to you guys. I'm going gluten and dairy-free. Thank you guys. I DM'd you some pics. Amazing. Love hearing progress like that. Great job.
Before and after.
Yeah. Great job on your success, Junton. Very happy for you.
Tell us what exactly you did.
Yeah, let us know.
More.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what you did, and maybe we can explain that to the sisters listening. What do you think about birth control with PCOS? Great question.
Right. We have a podcast episode on this. Birth control.
Wait. Not only do we have a podcast episode, but we have a podcast episode with the queen of birth control and PCOS and women. Basically, her name, if you don't know, is Dr. Jolene Brighton.
If you don't know, now you know.
Yes. But Dr. Jolene Brighton, she has a whole book called Beyond the Pill. That's all about basically birth control and whether birth control is good or bad, and what about for women with PCOS and all this stuff. She was on our podcast. We talked all about PCOS and birth control, but you can listen to that. But until you listen, Tanya can give you a quick explanation.
So birth control is your decision. We never say don't take it, because in some instances it could be really helpful, because you might be at a point where reversing your symptoms will take a lot of time and you don't have a lot of time. So maybe it'll help with acne and getting your period and so on. Mm-hmm. But we do feel like it is completely your decision, and you should know what birth control is and what it can do to you. And that's why we made a podcast episode about all the nutrient deficiencies, all of the hormonal imbalances it can trigger. And also we talk about ways to treat your PCOS or get your period back this is our podcast side, without birth control. If your doctor says that, you haven't had your period, go on birth control, why not try Ovastatol?
Quick question. Do you guys like my sweatpants? I feel like they look like pajamas. I'm not too for sure on it. They look like pajamas. Let me know what you guys think. All right. But yeah, I love that explanation. If you explain it.
Yeah, pretty much. I love that explanation. Did you finish?
What's up, Mom? My mom's here. She says hello. Hello, Mama. So Juntin replied back. She says, I cut out all dairy and gluten, incorporated strength training a few times a week, and started taking Ovastatol.
You go,
Amazing.
girl.
So she combined.
She followed our method.
Yeah, she
A
combined
to
diet.
Z.
Yeah, exactly. She combined diet, lifestyle, and the appropriate supplements that was specific to her. Like, that's what we always talk about, specific to you and what you need. It's not about taking 10 vitamins or supplements. It's about taking something specific to you. So it looks like Juntin, she had insulin resistance, so she took Ovastatol, cut out dairy and gluten,
and lost 42 pounds.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I just also want to say that we get a lot of messages, emails about supplements and supplement companies that want us to like sponsor them or look into their product and stuff.
Yeah, so much. You have no idea.
Like, that's why whenever we say like, this is great, you should try this, we are filtering out so much nonsense and so much just like mediocre or just brands that they can't compete to things like Ovastatol.
Yeah.
That's like so effective and so good, and we've seen so many great results. So
Yeah.
when I see like someone lost 42 pounds, they did our method, they took Ovastatol and changed their diet and stuff, like there's a reason why we're not recommending like 20 different supplements for insulin resistance, and we're saying start with this one. And then if it's not enough, if you have more insulin resistance, take this, take berberine, take whatever else there is, but like start with Ovastatol.
Yeah.
Is always how I begin.
I mean, that's a good point. It's like when you have,
Oops,
let's put that, stop it. Yes. Yeah, it's funny that Ty mentioned it, because I mean, not to brag, but when you have more than 100,000 followers on Instagram, you constantly get offers from the craziest companies, and we hand select companies that we think is actually helpful and that Ty herself has taken and experienced. Oh, Desi said, not pajamas, your pants look amazing. Oh, thank you. Okay, all right. Well, there was something. There was something I wanted. Okay. Natalie says, I lost 50 pounds in 2014. Just before I became pregnant, I did cardio 6 days a week as well as only consuming whole foods. Well, that's great for you. We're very happy you found what worked.
Do what works, girl.
Let's see. There was another question. Or I'll actually go to the one you said, right? Or drinking coffee with PCOS, just switch to matcha instead.
That does have less caffeine, but it still has caffeine, but it's good that you're switching over.
Yeah. So like when we talk about caffeine or coffee specifically, the thing with coffee is not that like coffee itself is bad. I should answer this one. That coffee is bad. It's the caffeine. So caffeine can spike cortisol levels, and like many people, like when they drink a cup of coffee, maybe like they drink 1, 2, or 3 cups of coffee a day, and then they feel jittery, they feel anxious, almost maybe like you're having a panic attack. It's very common. And let us know in the comments if that was your situation. But a lot of people experience this with caffeine, and what ends up happening is you don't get enough sleep because the caffeine doesn't let you get enough REM sleep or even fall asleep properly. It increases like your stress hormones. Your like stress hormones are constantly at edge. So we recommend going decaf, but you can go into it slowly by going into like matcha or green tea and like slowly weaving off of it.
They're saying one eye and like half your lip while you're talking.
It's good that I'm being more interesting.
No. Someone says, Jasmine says, also, could you guys please explain if fruits are okay? I read so many different things. Some people say it's high in sugar and carbs. Others say it's natural, so it's good. I want to cut out regular sugar, but I don't know. All right. So here's the thing with fruit. Basically, fruit is natural. It's a natural sugar, but it's still sugar. So even though fruit has fiber in it and vitamins and minerals, and obviously doesn't compare with table sugar, it's still going to affect your blood sugar in some way. So it's important to know that and not feel like just because you have cravings, you can have a big bowl of fruit.
Mm-hmm. Or just because fruit is healthy or has nutrients, it doesn't mean you can just have like a whole.
Yeah, I feel like because we have such bad cravings and, insulin resistance is really hard to manage, because of that, people want to be told that fruit is okay. And if you have cravings, go for it. Have 5 plums, go for it. I've done it, okay? But it's not going to help your cravings. It's not going to heal your cravings, and it's going to make them worse because it's sugar no matter what anyone tells you.
Yeah.
So that's why I recommend one fruit a day while you're trying to heal your insulin resistance. Then
Or one serving, because we wouldn't say you have one watermelon.
Okay. Handful of cherries, one apple.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
And that's because, I want to help you heal your insulin resistance. And then when it's better, when you don't have such bad cravings and sweet addiction, then later you can add in more, and you might not even add in more because you just don't even feel like it because your palate changed and you don't feel like having such sweetness.
Yeah.
Which happened to me. Like after one fruit, I'm good.
Yeah.
Because I have insulin resistance and I'm constantly maintaining it, and it's at a good place, and I don't feel like having more. And I know that if I do, it's just going to snowball.
Yeah. And not to mention, we actually have a whole podcast episode on is fruit bad for PCOS? And of course, it's not bad for PCOS, but we go really much into detail. And we actually have several doctors on the podcast, and we asked them, what is your take on fruit with PCOS? And we read each of those answers, 5 answers from different doctors on the podcast. I mean, I'll give you a little hint.
They all agreed.
They all basically say the same similar stuff, what we were just saying. But listen to that episode. It's on the podcast, and you'll be able to
we
understand.
Keep our advice straightforward and based on my experience and the experience of my patients one-on-one.
And case studies from doctors.
Case studies from doctors and women in the sisterhood.
Yeah.
We are not going based off of what the book said when I was in school, because the book didn't say much that was helpful. And if it did, then I would have resolved my PCOS problems sooner. And it didn't. So now I have to go based off of experience, knowledge, critical thinking, and case studies.
Books.
That's where we come up with these types of
and books as well.
material.
There's 2 great books about PCOS that kind of basically goes into detail about what we talk about. PCOS SOS. And also 8 Steps to Reverse Your PCOS. These are 2 books written by doctors, and they have very similar approach to what we talk about here on our account. Several questions from TikTok. I don't want to miss those.
Well, thank you. I'll always eat 4 to 5 servings of fruit before, sad face. So how do you know if we have insulin resistance? If you have really bad cravings, irregular periods.
She says I have the worst sugar cravings.
You have insulin resistance, and eating 4 to 5 fruits a day, just because they're natural and healthy, is not helping your insulin resistance.
It probably leaves you feeling hungry like 20, 30 minutes later. You can always consult with your doctor. There's several tests you can do to confirm insulin resistance as well. What's the podcast name? Podcast name is A Sister and Her Mister, and you can find it in the link in bio. Just go to the link in bio and it'll directly take you to the podcast. What's the verdict on oatmeal? I've been told it's too high in carbs for PCOS. Well, it depends what you basically pair it with. So oatmeal is actually naturally gluten-free. However, most brands, they actually they roll it in flour to give it an extra taste or something. So just make sure the oatmeal says gluten-free. And what you want to do is make sure your oatmeal is paired with very high protein and good amount of fats. So the way you do that, we actually, oh my God, this is a perfect example. We talk about how Tallene makes oatmeal in the podcast episode. And basically, Tallene makes it in one pan for both of us. And listen to the episode, you'll hear exactly how Tallene makes oatmeal for both of us, because she has to use different protein powders and she still uses one pan. Listen for the details. It's very exciting.
I hope you enjoy this, because I really like telling people about what I'm doing, because I feel like I've curated it down to every detail that could possibly help with my PCOS.
Yeah, exactly.
And cut time, save time.
Yeah.
Not lollygag, not wash 2 pots, things like that.
Yeah. So what you want to do with oatmeal is add some protein powder, mix it up so now it's high protein, and then also maybe add some peanut butter or almond butter to add some nice fat in there, and that will be a great combination. Hold on, I want to just go on to some questions from TikTok just so I don't want to miss anyone's questions. Okay, there are questions about facial hair and hair loss, and also Izrami says, I'm down 7 pounds in the first 3 weeks with just going gluten dairy free. I haven't even started exercises yet. That's awesome. So happy for you. And then, okay. So let's go talk about Hair loss and facial hair. Okay, because it's kind of related to insulin resistance as well, and I will let Tallene take the floor.
So with hair loss, here's the issue. Typically, it's because we have high testosterone or high DHEA, which is a stress hormone. And this gathers around the hair follicle and it causes it to weaken and shrink, and then the hair falls out. Then to regrow it, it takes like 6 months, and you have to be consistent with your diet and lifestyle changes and managing all of the reasons why that stress hormone was high or that testosterone was high. And that's why it's so frustrating, because the results are typically slow. But if you're consistent, you can do it. So things that can help: managing insulin resistance. Take it, please. Other hand. Managing insulin resistance.
Wait, it looks like I'm about to slap you. Can you just do this then?
Managing insulin resistance, managing your stress hormones. And how do we do this? We eat 1 fruit a day. We make sure that we're managing our cravings. You're taking Ovastatol, gluten and dairy free, because gluten and dairy can spike insulin levels. Understanding your carb tolerance. If you need help with any of this, you can always join us in the Sisterhood. And that's our monthly membership. And we show you step by step in very fun and informative videos exactly how to do all of this.
Yeah.
As for the stress part, you see my stories at night. I have like a very strict wind down routine at night. You know, Sirak plays the guitar and serenades me. We light a candle. I read a book. We stop looking at blue lights, CBD. These are all the things that help me stay relaxed, sleep better, and so on, so that my testosterone, my stress hormones aren't high, and my hair doesn't fall out.
Yes. Love it.
That is all.
Thank you for your answer. All right. How do we join the Sisterhood? Just go to PCOSweightloss.org, PCOSweightloss.org, and in the top there's something called membership, and it'll take you directly there. While we're there, we'll explain you. So the Sisterhood is a membership program that you can join, and you basically be able to take complete care of your PCOS, in our opinion. So basically, when you join the Sisterhood, you go through a 5-stage success path for PCOS weight loss and management. So in the 5 stages, you can consider each stage like a chapter, right? And each chapter, you go through several videos that are fun, informative, that me and Ty made ourselves. You learn about that topic and you move on to the next stage, right? The 5 stages are basically managing your PCOS and losing weight. And by doing that, as you go through those 5 stages, you actually earn points, and you can use those points to get free stuff like meal prep kits, yoga kits, dessert kits, and way more things that will be coming down the line. In addition, we have monthly workout programs. The monthly workout programs are specifically designed for women with PCOS, and those change up every month because we want to keep your body guessing month to month and make it always different for you. And then we have the recipe section. The recipe section, Tallene has made herself. They are actually for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, completely gluten and dairy free, and completely specific to your carb tolerance. So when you complete one of the stages in stage 4, you select your carb tolerance, and all the recipes auto-populate with that specific carb tolerance. And then we have a private Facebook group where you can share all your information and questions with us. We're always on there to answer. And last but not least, we have 2 live Zoom calls a month.
One is for tomorrow. So if you join today, you'll be able to join our Zoom call tomorrow.
That's true. If you join today, tomorrow, we have a Q&A Zoom call with all the sisters face to face. Everybody turns on their videos. They ask us their questions. We answer, we talk, we laugh, we chill, we get drunk. I'm just kidding. We don't get drunk. But
all right.
Shit gets crunk, you know what I'm saying? We get crunk up in her.
We pour ourselves in Ovastatol. We sit down. We talk face to face. Video is on. It's much more cozy.
Yes. So if you want to join, PCOSweightloss.org. And best case, you get 3-day free trial. So you can try everything out for 3 days. And if you don't like it, you can leave before the 3 days and you won't get charged. So totally up to you. You have the ability to try it out for 3 days and not pay a cent if you don't want to. But we honestly think it's really worth your attention, honestly. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to go back to some questions.
How do you figure out your carb tolerance?
Ooh, Good idea.
So their carb tolerance, you want to start with around 150 grams of carbs. Track it on a meal tracker. Make sure that you're following, all the carbs that you're eating for that day. See if it's within 150 or 120 to 150 grams. Now, if you feel good eating that way and you feel nourished and you're not tired and
Cravings.
It's not too much and you don't have bad cravings, then stay there all week and see if you lose weight that week. If you lose 1 pound, and if you do, then stick to it. Don't lower it more, just stick to it. Keep up the gluten and dairy free, make sure you're following your carb tolerance, understand what portion sizes look like. Let's say you're 120 grams. If you track for a week, you'll start understanding what 120 grams looks like. So stop tracking and just go with what you understand, how you feel. And if you want to lower it, you lower it a little bit, but typically people stay around that number.
Yeah.
I eat around like 100 grams of carbs a day, or like maybe 120. That's where I feel good.
Yeah.
Again, they only see your eye.
They love my eye.
Instagram
I went to a doctor.
eyes.
I went to a doctor for my PCOS. She just laughed at my face, but you guys' advice really helped me.
Jesus Christ.
Well, we're here to help, and you can
these people?
tell that doctor to skidoo. Tell him to go to hell. Tell him to go to Antarctica for all I care. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with these doctors? There are great doctors, don't get me wrong. Like Dr. Jolene Brighton, Dr. Mercy, Dr. Nirvana, Dr. Nadia Paraguana, Dr. Felix Gersh. Those are all, Dr. Samina. Those are all amazing PCOS doctors.
They're all on our podcast.
Yes, but we're sorry that you guys have to go through other people that are not as well. But, it's life.
It is life.
And then,
Like doctor hopping, like we're bar hopping over here.
Yeah. Okay, Ovastatol. Great question. What is Ovastatol? A lot of questions. Does Ovastatol work the same as Inositol? And a lot of similar questions. So
this is a great question.
Yeah, I'll start off and then I'll hand it off to my wife, Tali. So thank you very much.
My manicured nail.
All right, it's good.
Testing.
All right. So basically, when it comes to women with PCOS, 70 to 80% of women with PCOS have insulin resistance. We talked about this earlier. Now, many doctors, when they run into women with PCOS, they prescribe metformin. Let us know in the comments. Has that been the case for you? Did the doctor just prescribe you metformin and tell you to lose weight? Because we think that is happening way too often. So metformin helps to regulate your insulin resistance. However, it comes with many, many side effects, many of them being bad ones. And we've talked about this on our other podcasts. And, we've showcased this with other people's experiences. Now, Ovastatol, on the other hand, is a natural supplement, not prescribed, is a natural supplement that helps to regulate the ratio of your myo and D-chiroinositols. So now in your body, you have a ratio of 40:1 myo and D-chiroinositols. This ratio helps to regulate your insulin levels. What happens with women with PCOS, this ratio goes out of whack. And then now you're not able to regulate your insulin, therefore insulin resistance happens. You may gain weight and experience a lot of other symptoms like, acne, hair loss, hair growth, fatigue. A lot of these symptoms can be directly related to insulin resistance. So what are inositols? Inositol are B8 vitamins. However, just because you're taking inositols, it doesn't mean it's just as good as any other inositol brand. The reason is you want to take a supplement that has 40:1 ratio of myo and D-chiro. That is super, super, super important. That ratio must be there. If not, it's not as good as basically a 40:1 ratio. So I feel like I explained everything, but
I feel like you really covered this and I have nothing to add.
Well, I don't know what to say. And Ovastatol, why we love Ovastatol? I mean, number one reason, that's what Tallene took many years ago, and she continues taking it to this day. 2, Ovastatol is NSF certified, which means it's tested by a third party that's federally regulated. 3, it is run by a board of medical doctors. We just had an interview with Dr. Mark Ratner, who's the inventor of Ovastatol. He was on the podcast last week. He is a physician. He's a fertility doctor and so much more. And he explained how that he has like 6 doctors on the board at Ovastatol to help make sure everything is always proper. So, and not just that, he talked to us about how there's currently 2 studies, one at Penn State, the other at Baylor, for Ovastatol and PCOS specifically. So they're literally studying Ovastatol and PCOS at 2 universities, Penn State and Baylor. Very, very important studies. We're very excited to hear about them, what happens. But we think Ovastatol is the shit. And if you want a discount code, it's in our highlights.
Oh, I want to mention something.
Yes, please.
So if you find an alternative that has a 40-to-1 ratio, that's great. But you always want to make sure that it is coming in a 3-month supply. That's why Ovastatol is more expensive, because it's a 3-month supply.
Not just that. Okay, so here's the thing. When you buy an inositol supplement, one, make sure it's 40-to-1 ratio, but also you need 4,000 milligrams. So when you have 1 serving of that other brand, make sure that 1 serving is 4,000. Because if it's not, you're going to end up taking twice the dosage to get the full benefit, and then you're going to run out of.
Cost the same.
Not the same, more, because a lot of these supplies are less than a month.
And if you want to see results, you have to take it for like 3 to 6 months.
Yes.
You can't just take it for 1 month. You're trying to heal your metabolism. You're trying to change your diet and lifestyle. That also takes time and works really effectively in conjunction with Ovastatol. So that's why the 3-month supply is important.
Yes, exactly.
I rest my case.
Exactly. With that being said, the supplement, it helps to regulate your insulin resistance. And if you want more information, go to our highlights in Instagram. You'll see there's a lot of testimonials, and there's a swipe up. There's a 15% off discount code. So if you have trouble affording it, we try to offer as best as we can with with a 15% off discount code that you'll always get, and we'll always try to we're actually always giving away Ovastatol too as a way to help. So, and somebody asked, who are we?
Who are we? Let's introduce ourselves.
We are, actually telling you, sorry, I've been talking like a shitload.
You did a great job.
I know.
You're a quick learner.
Who are you?
I am.
Who are ye?
You know that scene in Alice in Wonderland where the caterpillar is smoking a hookah and he's like, who are you? Okay, so I'm a registered dietitian.
Oh my God.
What?
There is a fucking ladybug on my slipper.
Ew! It's gonna fly away.
No, I think it's dead.
No, it's alive. It's moving.
No, that's because I'm moving it. Okay. Oh. I'll throw it away later. Anyways.
Oh my God.
Sorry, real quick.
How did that get in here?
If you're trying to order Ovastatol outside the country, go to their FAQ on their website, and they have links to help you order it for internationally. Okay, go for it.
Who am I?
Who are ye?
I'm a registered dietitian.
By the way, I just want to show that there really is. This is my slipper, my Birkenstocks. There is the dead ladybug that somehow has appeared on my Birkenstocks. I'm sorry to be so. Look at that. It's moving now. It's dead. It's not alive, but there is a ladybug on my Birkenstocks.
Okay.
Can I be more privileged?
Okay. I'm a registered dietitian, and I had PCOS a long time ago, and my symptoms were out of control. I had really bad cystic acne before I met Sirak. He has no idea what was happening to my face back then, and thank God. I was also gaining weight uncontrollably. Let's see. I had really bad mood issues, and
okay, just go. Just continue.
Okay, and also, I went to a lot of naturopathic doctors and other doctors that could help me and tell me diet and lifestyle changes, because I felt like going on birth control or taking metformin wasn't the solution for me. And so I decided to go gluten and dairy free after so many of them told me to go gluten and dairy free. And that helped with my acne so much. I lost so much weight. I felt so much better. And it was just absolutely the best thing I ever did for my inflammation and insulin resistance. Then I layered in other diet and lifestyle changes, and that also helped. I did go to acupuncture. That helped with stress, with period regulation. I took Ovastatol once I finally figured that out. All of this took a lot of time and adjustment, especially going gluten and dairy free. Like it took a whole year to get used to that. And a lot of patience. And I wanted to avoid all this drama for you guys. And that's why we designed the Sisterhood, to teach you everything step by step that I went through and that I have told my own patients to do for so long. And I've seen such great results. People's ovarian cysts go away, including my own, gone. None whatsoever left. I had the string of pearls and it's all gone because of reducing inflammation and insulin resistance. And not to mention working out for PCOS when I met Sirak, my personal trainer, on Tinder.
Tinder.
Let's not get us confused. We did not meet at the gym. We met on Tinder.
That's true. That's true.
Hit it.
All right. Well, as Tanya mentioned, I am her husband now. But when we met about 4 years ago? What am I doing? Oh, yeah. Here's proof that we're married. But no, we met about 4 years ago. And, Tanya, when we started working out together, Tanya was trying to do all these crazy things. And then basically I helped explain to her, when you're doing these workouts, slow weighted workouts, you don't need to do a run around the gym just because you're resting. There's something called a rest period. And it was funny because it was something she was never aware of, because her whole life she's been pushed to do crazy kickboxing, to do all these HIIT workouts, work hard as possible to lose weight. And then I kind of helped her switch that mentality, a complete 180. And she saw she started seeing results immediately. She started feeling better sleep, better energy levels, so many things. Because when you do slow weighted workouts, not only is it a workout, but it's helping to heal your PCOS from the root. Because PCOS can be considered a metabolic dysfunction. And what happens when you have insulin resistance and you have weight gain is that your body doesn't have maybe enough lean muscle. With slow weighted workouts, we help you incorporate help you incorporate how to build that lean muscle to help to permanently increase your metabolism. Because, and this is based on science and research, research shows that when you increase your lean muscle mass, your metabolism as a result permanently goes up in order to keep up with that muscle, because muscle always requires energy, whereas a fat depot, it never requires anything. It just sits there. However, muscle, even when you're sitting and just at your desk working on the laptop, your muscle constantly requires energy. So it's really good to incorporate a slow weighted workouts for that reason. If the discount doesn't work, you have to put it. Yeah, you have to put it in the PRC box and not the discount code box. The PRC box.
Chablu says Tinder needs to sponsor you guys.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
Thank you very much. I concur. Fernanda says slow weighted workouts. I love them. Awesome. And nice. Jo says so happy to listen to your advice.
Thank you. All right.
Someone asked about, one more.
No, go for it.
Someone asked about sugar substitutes. Should we substitute sugar with monk fruit extract, artificial sweeteners, stevia, or should we just cut it out, or should we reduce it to natural sugars? And for that, I would say don't replace it. If you want to have the cookie, have the cookie. Don't try to curb your cravings with artificial sweeteners and things like that. Think about what you're eating throughout the day that's affecting your blood sugar and making you have the cravings in the first place. Did you have enough protein? Did you skip your lunch? Are you drinking enough water? Are you doing weighted workouts, or are you doing cardio for an hour? Because that can really affect your appetite and cravings, let me tell you. So what I'm trying to say is reflect on your day, reflect on your diet and lifestyle. Make some changes, your cravings will get better. Maybe take some Ovastatol, and you won't need to substitute it with monk fruit extract or stevia and things like that.
Yeah. Laura says,
sorry, I missed my point. It spikes your insulin levels. Even though it's not sugar and doesn't affect your blood sugar, it does affect your insulin for a lot of women. And I've seen this where cravings get worse because your pancreas releases all this insulin because your body thinks that you're eating sugar when you're not. It's a fake sugar and it's 1,000 times sweeter than real sugar. Your body thinks it's sugar. And then that insulin resistance gets worse and your cravings get worse.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, next.
Okay. Someone said I experience a lot of hair loss, as well as on YouTube says it's making me sad. I don't want to fall on depression. So with hair loss, we talked about earlier, is focusing on the insulin resistance, and it takes time. It takes about 6 to 12 months for the hair to grow back fully. So you just have to be patient with yourself and keep doing what's working. If something is working for you, don't get discouraged if the hair doesn't come back right away. It takes time. So like for those asking on TikTok and YouTube, when it comes to hair loss, just be patient with the changes that you're incorporating, and it'll just come as if everything is going great.
Yeah, it does take some time. I mean, imagine like the hair follicle falls out and then a new follicle has to grow there. And then like the hair has to grow, a new strand of hair has to grow in there. And by the time you notice the hair growth, it takes months because hair grows so slowly anyways. Like in a month, it grows this much.
Yeah.
So you just have to be very patient.
Yeah.
Rosie says, I've become the worst grandchild for my Armenian grandma because I stopped eating her food. Story of my life.
We feel you. We're Armenian as well.
And I remember when I went gluten and dairy free and my grandma was like, she was alive back then. And I was I really wanted baklava. And this is the beginning when I first started going gluten and dairy free. And I picked out the inside of the baklava, the pistachio and like walnut inside of the baklava, and I left the phyllo dough in my plate.
Wow.
And she was like, what the hell have you done to my baklava?
Blasphemy, she said.
She
Blasphemy.
was like, what is this? Like, you literally ruined it. You didn't enjoy it. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gluten-free. What's gluten? Oh my God, explaining gluten-free to an Armenian grandma.
And they will get very offended if you don't eat their food. I'm surprised she let you stay in the house.
I know.
I'm surprised she didn't kick you out of the house.
She lived with us.
There you go. Okay. Do you want to answer anything more? Or
no.
like we've been talking a lot.
I know. I feel like this was a really fun live.
Yeah, it was very fun. We've been going on for, it looks like 47 minutes. God damn.
We're really happy that today, I'm really excited that today was the podcast anniversary. I hate to drag this on, sorry.
It's okay.
And we're so grateful because this podcast has been so fun for us. And you guys like going back and like re-listening to some episodes, it's like so sentimental to hear like where we were at in our lives. And like Sirak even quit his job and joined, the team and everything. And like that whole year of like podcasting, it's like a diary where we like talked about all of our experiences the whole time.
It's true.
And it's just amazing the growth that we've had.
Yeah.
And we've become hopefully better podcasters since the first episode.
I think so. I mean,
it's more comedy.
I think we're the podcast. It's so funny. Like 1 year, it's funny how we started it. The beginning of the podcast, we were just like doing our best to like talk about different topics, and then it eventually like we started to make our own show notes, like making sure that we had all the research studies ready to go as we talk about it. Whereas before we were talking like we were trying to remember things.
Yeah,
it just got better and better over time. And we even on the podcast like talk about our most downloaded episodes in the last year. So you'll get to hear like which episodes have been downloaded the most. And a big thank you to everyone, by the way. We have more than 340,000 or something like 330,000 downloads in the last year, which is insane. It's all thanks to you guys. And I mean, we're here to help as best as possible, but you're the ones listening and making, the changes based on our episodes. So we really appreciate that.
And I will never forget before this podcast started when Sirak suggested that we do a podcast, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. What's it going to be called? I couldn't even imagine. And I just like threw my hands up and was like, fine, whatever. If you want a podcast, we'll do a podcast. And he ordered all the equipment, and then we got started, and it just developed into this fun and, beautiful thing that we did during our first year of marriage.
True.
And it's like a diary. Like I said, I'm so glad that I was like not resistant.
Yeah. Let's do a couple of positive messages. Elf.os says, I didn't have my period for 2 years, and thanks to you guys, I brought my weight down and taking Ovastatol. I don't get my period every month, but I get it 1 month, yes, and the next month, no, but progress. It's amazing. Very happy for you, Elf.os. Listening from South Africa, you've been such great support. Was diagnosed 16 years ago and only just starting the more natural way of dealing with PCOS. Amazing. Thank you, Jess Payne, and thank you for listening all the way from South Africa. And if you want to listen to the podcast, it's available everywhere. You can go to the link in bio, and it'll take you directly to Apple Podcasts. But it's also available on Spotify, Google, YouTube, Stitcher, everywhere that you can listen. Okay. Okay. I think we're good.
I think we covered everything.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We tried to answer everyone's questions. Sorry if we missed a few questions here and there, but trying our best. And we'll be back.
We could.
Yeah, we'll be back on Wednesday to do another live. So stay tuned for Wednesday, and send us any DMs or questions if you have any. We're always here to answer your DMs and questions as best as we can. And let's all have a great week and kill it this week, right?
Yes.
Let's kill it.
New content coming your way.
Yes. Alrighty. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
All right, TikTok, if you want to see this live from beginning to end, just go to our Instagram because we're going to post the whole thing there right now. So you'll be able to watch